Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah, another one.
Today,
What?
today we're going to be talking about trust.
Ooh, that's a big one.
It is a big one.
Yeah.
And not just like trust in yourself, although we could talk about that too, but really like how do we earn trust with the Lord and with our families?
Right. Like real tangible trust.
Yes, exactly.
Not just like, having faith in yourself,
Right.
but how do you build it with other people?
Yeah, so, and this is really cool because we're looking at this talk from Elder Richard J. Maynes.
Yeah.
From back in 2017
A while ago.
called Earning the Trust of the Lord in Your Family.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good, and as I was reading through it, I was thinking like, a lot of this applies no matter what year it is.
Oh, for sure.
Timeless principles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to jump into it. What were some of the things that jumped out at you?
Well, okay, so right off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
Elder Maynes connects this idea of like integrity of heart with trust.
And he says it's not enough to just like look trustworthy or, seem like you have it all together on the outside.
Right, got to be deeper than that.
It has to be deeper.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that like our intentions and our desires are actually pure and righteous.
Yeah.
And then the outward actions will reflect that,
So it's like walking the walk and not just talking the talk.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
And then he goes on to say that this is especially important in our families.
Okay, so that's where the rubber meets the road.
Right.
So how do we actually do that? How do we have integrity of heart within our families?
Well, he points to the three responsibilities of fathers that are outlined in the family, a proclamation to the world.
Okay.
Preside in love and righteousness, provide and protect.
Right.
But he's quick to say that this is not just a solo mission for dads.
Not at all.
Right? It's about equal partnership with their wives,
Yeah.
that they share the responsibility in making decisions for their family, and that is the foundation for trust.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the family, but what about earning the Lord's trust?
Right, because that feels like a whole other thing.
Yeah, I guess for like a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So how do those two connect?
Well, it's really interesting because he uses this example of Nephi,
Okay.
who I think is like the best example of trust in the Lord.
Right, he's the poster child for just like unwavering faith, even when things are falling apart.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so Elder Maynes points to this moment where Nephi is praying, and he basically says, Lord, I'm putting all my trust in you, not my own strength.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to rely on you.
So is it about letting go of all control then? Or like what?
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? Because it's not just that he prayed and then waited for things to happen.
Right.
He then acted.
But-
He followed the commandments.
Right.
And he was obedient,
Right.
and he put his trust into action.
I like that.
Yeah. And then as a result, his life was filled with blessings.
Well, let's dive into those blessings. What kind of blessings did he receive?
Well, I mean, he received revelation from God, right? He was able to lead his family to safety. He ultimately, found peace and happiness.
Yeah,
These are all things that we can aspire to in our own lives, too.
absolutely. So it's not just about blind faith. It's about trusting God enough to actually do something,
Yeah.
to follow his guidance,
Yeah.
even when it's not super clear what we should be doing.
That's when the growth happens, right?
Yeah,
When
exactly.
you step out in faith and,
Yeah.
and trust that he's going to lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, it's like we're proving to him that we can be trusted
Yeah.
by doing what he asks, even if it's small things.
Right. It's that consistency
Yeah.
that builds trust.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Nephi and like kind of the male perspective on all of this.
Yeah.
But what about the women?
Yeah.
How does this trust thing resonate with them?
Well, Elder Maynes includes some really cool insights from his daughters,
Oh, yeah.
Laura and Christina,
Yeah.
about trust.
What do they say?
Well, Laura talks about how she just feels at peace,
Okay.
knowing that her husband, is making choices throughout the day that show that he respects her and loves her.
Yeah.
And that allows them to raise their family in a really peaceful environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. When you know that your partner is making good choices,
Yeah,
you feel safe and secure and loved.
right.
Yeah.
And Christina adds this really interesting point. She compares trust to faith.
Okay.
And she says that when trust is absent, then fear and doubt creep in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's like the foundation starts to crumble
right.
if you don't have that trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And both daughters mention that, they have peace in their homes
Mm-hmm.
because they have husbands that they can trust,
Yeah.
husbands who live with integrity.
So that peace is a really important outcome.
Yeah, it's definitely something to strive for.
Yeah, for sure.
And, to illustrate this idea of trust and integrity, Elder Maynes tells a story about his own dad.
Ooh, I love stories. Let's
Mm.
hear it.
All right, so picture this, young Richard Maynes, fresh off his mission,
Okay.
gets invited by his dad to go on a business trip with him to Los Angeles.
Okay.
This is a big deal. It's his first time, representing the company.
High stakes.
High stakes, yeah.
Yeah.
So they meet with this like high-ranking corporate officer
Okay.
who's looking to upgrade their production lines worldwide.
Okay.
So this is a huge potential client.
Big money.
Big money, yeah.
Okay.
So the meeting starts, and it's all going pretty normal, talking about designs and logistics, and then they get to the price.
Okay.
And that's when things take a turn.
Oh.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, the officer tells them that their bid is the lowest.
Okay. Good news.
Good news, right?
Yeah.
But then he suggests that they bump up their price to just below the next highest bidder
Okay.
and then split the difference with him.
Whoa, that's a bribe.
Yeah, that's a bribe.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Wow. So what did he do?
Well, what's interesting is that Elder Maynes' father just shakes the officer's hand.
Okay.
Says, we'll get back to you. And then they leave.
Ooh, what happened next?
Well, that's where we'll have to pick up in part 2.
Okay. I
Well,
can't wait.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Right.
Okay. Well, we'll be back in just a minute to continue this deep dive. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.
Right. So we left off with Elder Maynes and his dad
Yeah.
in the car after that encounter with the corporate officer.
Big moment, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
I'm dying to know what happened.
Okay, well,
Did he take the bribe or?
so get this.
Okay.
His dad turns to him
Okay.
and says, what do you think we should do?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what was going through his mind.
Right.
Fresh off his mission,
Mm-hmm.
probably thinking about all the things that extra money could do for his family.
Maybe his own tuition for school?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But before he can even answer,
Mm-hmm.
his dad just lays down this truth bomb. He says, listen, Rick, once you take a bribe or compromise your integrity, it's really hard to ever get it back. Don't ever do it, not even once.
Wow.
Powerful.
Yeah.
So what did they do?
Well, they stuck to their bid.
Oh.
And you know what?
Right.
They got the contract.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Talk about a reward for righteousness.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, Elder Maynes shares how that experience really solidified for him the importance of integrity. Like,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
more than just words. It was seeing his dad actually live it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's so powerful for all of us.
That's the ultimate example
Yeah.
of walking the walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about integrity in families
Yeah.
and earning the Lord's trust.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we actually put this into practice? Like, what does this look like day to day?
Well, Elder Maynes really emphasizes the importance of obedience.
Oh.
Not just avoiding the big sins, but being consistent in all of our actions.
So even the small things.
Even the small things, yeah. It's about showing God that we're reliable,
Okay.
that we can be trusted.
So it's like we're building that trust muscle.
Exactly.
The more we do what he asks,
Yeah.
the stronger it gets.
The stronger our faith becomes.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got obedience. We've got integrity.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, he also talks about the importance of keeping our covenants.
Right.
Those promises we make with God,
Right.
at baptism in the temple.
Yeah.
Those are the foundation of our relationship with him. And by honoring those covenants, we're basically saying, Lord, I'm in this.
Okay.
I'm serious about this relationship.
We're committed.
We're committed.
Oh, okay. But all of that sounds great in theory, but we're human.
Yeah, we are.
We make mistakes.
All the time.
How do we bridge that gap
That's a good question.
between our imperfections and God's expectation of trustworthiness?
Well, Elder Maynes actually talks about this in the context of marriage.
Yep.
And he shares some insights from his daughters, Laura and Christina.
Oh, yeah. I remember them talking about like peace in the home.
Right. Laura talks about how just knowing that her husband is making choices that show love and respect for her really creates this sense of security and harmony in their home.
And those are the little things.
The little things, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyday choices.
Yeah.
And then Christina adds that when trust is absent, fear and doubt creep in.
Right. Like cracks in the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she specifically says that she has peace of mind knowing that her husband will do what he says he'll do.
Yeah. He's a man of his word.
Exactly.
And that builds trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so it sounds like it's not just about earning the trust of others,
Right.
but also earning our own self-respect.
Yeah, that's a good
And
point.
if we're living with integrity, we can look in the mirror and feel good.
Yeah, you got to be able to live with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Okay, so this whole conversation makes me think about this analogy of trust Being like a bridge.
Ooh, a bridge.
Yeah.
How so?
Like it takes time and effort to build a strong bridge.
Right, you need the right materials,
Right.
so.
The right foundation.
The right engineering.
Yeah, and you have to maintain it.
Yeah, you can't just build it and forget about it.
Right, you got to keep it strong and sturdy.
Exactly.
And just like a bridge, trust can connect us to incredible things.
Yeah, to deeper relationships, to new opportunities.
But if it's neglected,
Mm-hmm.
it can crumble and fall apart.
Yeah, that's a powerful image.
Yeah. So what does all of this mean for us?
Right, like how do we apply this?
Yeah.
Well, I think we have to start by asking ourselves, where do I need to build more trust?
Okay.
Is it with God? Is it with my family? Is it with myself?
Okay.
And then being honest about where our actions might not be lining up with our intentions.
Mm-hmm. And being willing to make changes.
Yeah, even small changes.
Okay.
Choose integrity. Keep our promises.
Yeah. Even when it's hard.
Even when it's hard.
Because those seemingly small choices,
Yeah.
they can make a big difference.
They really can. It's those little things that add up over time.
Okay, this has been so insightful.
Yeah.
But there's one more thing I think we
Okay.
need to touch on.
What's that?
Remember that story about Elder Maynes' father and the business deal?
Oh, yeah.
It really highlights this power of example.
Right. Like he didn't just hear about integrity. He saw it in action.
Exactly. And that had a huge impact on him.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that we're always setting an example for someone,
Right.
whether we realize it or not.
Our kids are watching us, our friends, our colleagues,
Mhm.
and those lived experiences speak louder than any words.
So true.
Yeah. So how do we become those examples of integrity?
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
I think it starts with being mindful of our actions
Okay.
and understanding that they have consequences, not just for us, but for others.
Yeah.
And then being willing to course correct when we mess up.
Right, because we're all going to make mistakes.
We are human.
Right. But it's about how we respond to those mistakes.
That shows our true character.
Yeah, it's about owning up to them,
Mm-hmm.
apologizing when we need to,
Yeah.
and learning from them.
And then doing better next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave you with a question.
Okay. I'm listening.
What's one small action you can take today
Mm-hmm.
to show integrity and build trust?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Maybe it's keeping a promise.
Yeah.
Maybe it's apologizing for a mistake.
Or choosing honesty,
Right.
even when it's hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because even those small actions
Yeah,
can have a ripple effect.
they can.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay, well, we'll be right back.
To finish up our deep dive.
Don't go anywhere.
All right, we're back.
Back for more Trust Talk.
Yes. We've talked about aligning our actions with our words. We've talked about being good examples.
Right.
But I think there's one more piece.
Okay, what's that? It's about extending that same trust and integrity
Okay.
to everybody we meet.
Not just our family.
Not just family, not just our close friends,
Right,
but
yeah.
everybody
Out in the world.
out in the world.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be something we just turn on and off.
Right. It should be part of who we are.
Yeah, like a guiding principle.
Yeah, like a way of life.
Yeah. So whether we're at work
Mm-hmm.
or at the store,
We're just talking to our neighbor.
right, we should always be striving to be honest and fair
Yeah. Treat people with respect.
because every interaction matters,
It does.
even the small ones.
Yeah, they all add up.
Think about it.
Okay.
If you're known as someone who's always truthful,
Mm-hmm.
even when it's hard,
Right.
people are going to notice that.
They will.
They're going to respect you.
Yeah, and trust you.
Yeah, and that can make a huge difference.
In everything.
Yeah, in all your relationships, in your career,
Yeah.
in your whole life.
It's like a ripple effect.
It is.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to that idea of earning the Lord's trust.
Right.
How we treat each other
Mm-hmm.
is a reflection of our relationship with Him.
It all ties together.
Yeah, so when we're honest and kind and respectful,
Yeah.
we're showing Him that we're serious about our covenants. We're showing Him that we love Him.
So it's not just about the rules.
Right.
It's about becoming the kind of person
Yes.
that He wants us to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive
Mm.
into earning trust,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
Elder Maynes asks this really powerful question.
What's that?
What legacy of trust will you leave behind?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it makes you think.
Yeah.
Will people remember you as someone who was honest,
Mm-hmm.
dependable,
Right.
true to their word,
Yeah.
someone who had integrity
Yeah.
and treated others with kindness and respect?
Those are the things that matter.
They do.
Yeah.
So what kind of legacy do you want to leave?
It's up to us to decide. Yeah.
And it starts with those small choices. To live with integrity.
Right.
To build trust.
To be the kind of person that we want to be remembered as.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, this was a good one.
It was.
A lot to think about.
Until next time, keep diving.
Keep learning. Keep growing.